My initial thought was to come here and share some insights from the book that we're reading in the Reignite 40 community, Hello Tomorrow. So the book is divided into 4 sections, and my thought was that, okay, I will do one video per section just to share, the wisdom that I'm gleaning from the book, things that are jumping at me, just to, carry everyone along. But as I started to prepare for that, I started to have this nudge to share something else. Backstory: as I was turning 40, it's not last year now. It's funny how time passes very quickly. So that was 2023, right? Last year was 2024. So I turned 40 in 2023. So I started to really inquire in my spirit as to what I was supposed to be doing in this season. I knew that I stepped into a different season. I felt it was different. And so I really wanted to, understand the season, understand the time. And I started to really dig into scriptures just to see if there was anything I could glean about, clocking 40 and why it felt so different from every other age or birthday that I'd celebrated in the past. And so I started to document as I was learning, and I even started to share. I think I shared one part, but after a while I was like, I think maybe this is just for me to understand and just keep to myself. So I had some of these things that I'm sharing now. I had them in my journal, and so the Holy Spirit just brought them back to me and was just nudging me to share. And I just strongly believe that it's for someone. And so why is it important for us to understand seasons? Let me start from there. I think that it's important for us to understand seasons so that we can adequately prepare for that season. Because truth is, you don't want to get into a season before you start to prepare. So let me use a scenario. I'm based in Maryland, USA, and so once we start to approach winter, you want to shop for some things. You want to get your jackets, you want to get your boots, and all of that. And I find that if you wait till you actually get into winter to buy those things, you're actually going to be buying them at higher prices, because now you're in the season and then you're just trying to get ready. So you get the gist. It's always better to prepare for a season before you step into that season. If you know that it's going to snow tomorrow, for instance, you want to put some things in place. You want to maybe cover your car or even park it in the garage or something like that. You want to get some things that will make it easy for you to be able to pass through that season without any stress. I think that it's also important for us to understand seasons so that if you're traveling, for instance, so that your movement is easier. If you're traveling to a different zone and you don't know what season you're going, you don't even know what to pack, you don't know how to prepare, you don't know whether to go with a jacket or to just get sleeveless because you are going to be in summer by the time you get to that region. So seasons are important in our everyday lives, and just as they're important in our everyday lives, as we step into new seasons in our lives, in our journey of life, we want to understand what that season represents and what we ought to be doing. The other reason I think that seasons are important, it's so that we can actually schedule the right activities for that season, because the right activities lead to the right outcomes, right? If you're not doing the right things at the right time, then your outcomes will be wrong as well, because you have it all mixed up. So scheduling the right activities for the right seasons is so key, so that you can maximize that season. Because a wise man once said, we don't fight seasons, you adjust to seasons. If it's rainy season, you adjust. You don't start to bind rain and start to say no, except on certain instances where you really need it not to rain. You get what I mean. So you step into a new season, you really want to maximize the season, enjoy that season while you are there. And so without further ado, I started to inquire, and the first thing that that jumped at me was the first time 40 was mentioned in the Bible. So the first time 40 was mentioned in the Bible was in the book of the beginning. It was in Genesis. It was actually in Genesis. It was Genesis chapter 7 verse 4. And we all know the story, but let me just give us a summary backstory. So God had looked down on humanity, He had looked down on, his creation, and he was not just happy with what he was seeing. Men, they were doing, all sorts of despicable things, all sorts of things. There was so much evil on the earth, and God was not happy. God was displeased. God was sad, and he decided, you know what, I'm going to scrap this generation. But he found, one man, Noah, and he decided that he was going through Noah, he was going to create a new race. So the plan was to eradicate the old. And so the mention of 40 in the Bible in Genesis chapter 7 verse 4 was God deciding that it was going to have to rain 40 days and 40 nights. So God decided that to eradicate an old generation, and an old generation that was not doing, his will, that was just, all about themselves, all about, their agenda, all about, doing all sorts of evil. He decided that it had to rain 40 days and 40 nights. And so we read the accounts, Genesis 7 verse 12 to 17. The rain started. Noah was obedient. He built the ark according to standard, according to God's specification. And the Bible says that it rained, the waters, the mountains were covered, with water and everything. And an entire generation was wiped out. An entire race was wiped out in that season. And so what I gleaned from that was just the fact that 40 marks the end of an old. 40 marks the end of the old. So God said, I want to take out the old, and I want to start a new generation through Noah. So 40 was that, particular number. 40 days and 40 nights, it had to rain. And that was, the beginning of the new. And so that just struck me that, okay, I'm stepping into a new season. It's time to, let go of, some things that doesn't serve God and his kingdom. Exalt God's agenda above all else. To exalt his agenda above everything else. It's a season where we're stepping into the new. I also found that the gestation period for a child, to be born is 40 weeks. And I don't think it's a coincidence that when God decided that for, a child to be born, that child has to stay in the mother's womb for 40 weeks before that child is mature enough, before the mother starts to feel these birth pangs to push the baby out. It has to be 40 weeks. In fact, there is research that shows that at 35 weeks, only 2/3 of the brain is developed. Only 2/3 of the brain of a child is developed. So it still has, a couple more weeks to stay in the mother's womb for every part to be fully formed. So 40 weeks is the number to birth a child. And so it's also a birthing season. And I believe that's why we feel this mix of joy, anxiety, like a woman that is about to, birth a child. There's the fear of, how is it going to look like? What's the experience going to look like? But there's also that joy of, it's a new season. I'm going to be a mom. I'm going to be a mother. I'm going to have, if the person has been a mother before, it's going to be, I'm going to have another child. I'm going to, have this new baby, this new child. And it's always a new experience. No birth is exactly like the previous. No two births look the same. So 40 signifies the end of the old and the birthing of the new. So it's a new season for us, and we need to discern that season. It's a season to step into God's agenda, to exalt God's kingdom above our ambitions, our desires. It's a season to start to inquire about God's plan, God's agenda for us. And that's why I am so excited about the fact that we are going through this book at this time in the community, just trying to really inquire, seek the face of God concerning this next phase, concerning the next decade of our lives through God's eyes, not just based off of just mere imagination, but through God's eyes, through scriptures, through prayers, through meditation, through thinking, we are intentionally trying to step into that new season, that new phase that God ordained for us in this season. So, my fortified tribe, it's actually a birthing season. So, those birth pangs that you're feeling, that mix of anxiety that you feel, that you felt when you clocked 40, or that you probably feel right now, it's not a coincidence. It's because of the season that we have stepped into. And it's time for us to begin to, press into the right activities, to maximize this season. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. So yeah, I almost forgot. If you're yet to join the community, now is a good time to do so. YouTube is not allowing me post links here. Some YouTube things that I'm still trying to understand. But if you find us on Instagram at reignite40, there you can find the links to join the community. Now is a good time because we're going over this book together. And that's so powerful. And now we have Wisdom Wednesdays. That's where we share, collective wisdom on things that is jumping at us, things that we're learning from the book, things that we're doing. And it's just so amazing. I'm so excited about what God is doing. So I will see you in the next one, because girl, we have to design this season and maximize this season of our lives. All right, bye for now.